Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. Welcome to my regular everything in bud, spike or bloom on the 8th. Now I apologise up front, but literally as I picked the camera up, next door, over the other side of the hedge, decided to get their strimmer out and probably doing their edges. Well, yeah. It's working people. It's a noise we have to put up with. Acceptable as well. No problem with that. Right, I shall do pop-ups for the names of the plants, as it's easier than me trying to remember them. And we'll go round like we usually do, left till right. We'll see what we've got. Now, up the back here, this black hair type dendrobium, the two latest canes, which have not grown as big as previous canes, but they both have buds. So we've got buds here and buds over here as well on the top of that cane, so that you can see where the buds were on the previous cane. So we've got buds on that. We've got buds here, and I can't remember which one of the Prosthetuas this actually is, but there's two latest growths and two sets of buds, so we'll have blue. Those will be in bloom in the not too distant future. And there is another Prosthetua over there with buds like right down inside the two leaves, so you can't really see anything, so I'm not going to bother digging that one out. Over here, the previous bloom on this Paphiopedilum's gone. There is a bud somewhere on the blackjack up the back here on one of the new growths, but again it's right down between the leaves, so it hasn't pushed on yet. And then this little miniature here has got a bud, but it is a miniature, so that bud is not actually far off opening. It's not going to get a huge amount bigger than that. Very, very, very small flower on that one. Then we come round to some of the Cymbidiums, but first of all I picked the camera up. So of course somebody wants to go out. How does he know? Anyway, this Cymbidium here, which is tiger tail, that one I do know. As you can see, if you look at the colours of that spike at the back, that spike is going over. Yeah? So these opened in a stagger basically. So it's still going to be in bloom for some time. One spike broke off here on the way back from the last Orchid Society meeting. Well, that was a month ago, in the car, basically. That's what comes of taking your plants to display. But it's still got plenty of buds. It's got spikes down here muddled up with the one next door. So it'll be in bloom for some time yet. The Calinite, 3 spikes on here. I don't think there's any signs of this going over yet. No, I think it's okay. Lovely deep colour, and the camera doesn't really show how dark it is. For some reason the camera lightens the colour. But nonetheless, very attractive blooms. They look like they're backlit with that very, very delicate pale edge. So it's an attractive one. Well, you didn't stay out long, did you? Come on. He didn't really want to go out at all, I don't think. He's just being a nuisance. Just being a cat, basically. This Cymbidium, has this one actually got a name, or is this just a hybrid? Can't remember. Well, if it has, it's faded on the label and I can't read it. I've got it in my notes, so I'm going to do that. This one is starting to fade. You can see the discoloration around the edges. So this one won't be with us too much longer, but it's a nice open bloom as Cymbidiums go. It's a very flat bloom. And that's one of the things that the breeding program at Mathers is trying to achieve. Larger, more open blooms, where there are colours, more vibrant colours. Bigger spikes, more blooms, and hopefully spikes that are self-supporting. So those are their goals. They're getting there. And then this one hasn't been open a huge amount of time. Actually it has. Lovely blooms, nice colour, and again a nice open shape. Unfortunately they're quite tight together on the spike, so they sort of bumped up together here and sort of wasn't really room for them to open flat, if you know what I mean. But if you look at this one here, you can see they open quite flat, or this one round here. So again, nice colour. Strictly speaking, that one I bought it at Mather's, but it's not one of their orchids. This came from the company that share the Cymbidium house. They've got about a quarter of it, and they only sell online, and I think it's a trade sort of thing. But they have an agreement with Mather's that any of the visitors to Mather's on any of their open days that want to buy any of their orchids, Mather's are allowed to sell them. So that's where that one came from. Right, down here, this was the one that shared a pot with that one, and realised it was actually a different plant, so when it got potted up separately. This one is definitely on the way out. Blooms are definitely fading here, but this one has been open a long time. It's a nice creamy pale yellowy colour as a base colour, and some nice veining, so it's quite attractive. But strictly speaking, I didn't buy that. It hitched a ride in the pot with this one. So yeah, this was the one I actually bought. I loved the colour on this one. Could do with being a little more open, because it's more of a cup-shaped Cymbidium, which is quite typical of the flowers. That is how an awful lot of them are. But lovely patterning in the lip, lovely deep maroon colouring, good veining, and a nice base colour to the petals and sepals. So very, very attractive bloom. Probably my favourite Cymbidium out of the ones I've got. Right, swinging round here, you're in for a treat in a minute, because we've got a new bloom, not a first time bloomer, followed by a first time bloomer that's a bit of a spectacle. I'll get there in a minute. We've got to do all the ones on the way first. Now this is Dendrobium infundibulum, the notoriously long lasting bloom that I've got in my collection. Simplistic beauty is how I describe this. It's pristine white with a lovely gold colour in the centre of the lip. Very simplistic shape. The sepals are tiny, thin, two big petals, nice frilly edge to the lip, and a nice golden colour. So this cane's got blooms on. This cane over here has got some blooms on, and this cane up here, which is the latest cane, has got buds to follow on, and that will be this cane's first time blooming. So it's going to be in bloom for some time yet, because we've got buds over here yet to open that are probably going to last 3 months. So we'll be enjoying this for some time. And then we've got a couple more Cymbidiums that came from Mather's. These were part of the Wisley purchase, along with this one. These came in these white pots, very, very thin plastic pots. They're really cheap and nasty, but they've been potted up like this to sell. So I actually bought 3, this one, and then this one over here, which is again starting to go now. But nonetheless, you know, same sort of pot, same price. And then the other one, the third one that I got from Wisley, is this one. Now this one's opened in a sort of cluster format, which doesn't display the blooms very well because they really are squashed together. Now that may not happen next time round, but the lip excuse me, is a delicate pink until the blooms start to go over, and then it turns to a deep pink. So it's a bit of a colour changer. So that's that. And then next to that we've got Dendrobium prima donna. Now, these blooms are going to be gone soon. They've never lasted a long time. So we won't be seeing that next time round. In a month's time they'll be gone. Well, I'm expecting this one to start producing some new growths very soon. As the blooms fade, the new growth starts. And then we've got a new bloom, one you haven't seen yet. Well, it's not a first time bloomer, so you've seen it in the past. And this is probably one of the last representatives of what was quite a large Cattleya collection once upon a time. And this is not a brilliant plant, but it's managed to hang in there and it's managed to survive the lower winter temperatures. Very attractive bloom, very attractive. Lovely red. So that's that one. And then up here we've got the Odontoglossum type. Again, this came from Mather's at Wisley. I came home with this one. These types of orchids are my favourite type overall, but within other genera are some individual favourites, one of which we're going to see now, because it's hiding behind that one, so I'll have to turn the plant. And that is this one, and this is one of my all-time favourite cotyledons. And I'm going to show you this. You might have to slow the video down to see it, but you can see the colour inside the lip is gorgeous. But as I bend it down for you to see it, watch what happens. That's nectar coming out from the centre of the lip, all over my fingers. Sticky stuff. So each one of those blooms has got its own pool of nectar. There's 3 on this plant. There's one up the back there, and then there's another one round here. So there's 3. They're very large, and a strange peachy colour, you'd say the base colour is. And then the lip is a lovely cream with brown markings. So unusual set of colours, but very, very attractive. And now with a bit of deviousness, we can have a look at the last of the Peony blooms. All the others are now, you know, they've got their leaves, they're growing their leaves up to full size and everything, and pushing out good root systems from what will be next year's blooming bulbs. But again, I like these. I tried these many years ago at a previous house, and they were classed as hardy orchids, and I planted them out on my rockery, and some of them actually bloomed the first year, and then I never saw them again. So I don't think they were as hardy as I was told. But that's that one, and now you're in for a bit of a treat. Yes, it is a long bloom. Absolutely stunning. Now, at Burnham's, which is where this came from, these are in the specimen plants, of which they have many, are in big baskets hanging from the roof. So when you walk around the nursery, you have to look up at these spikes because they're hanging from the roof. And I can see why they do that. I mean, it might be for the extra light for the plants, but I doubt it, being a cotyledon. But these are best viewed from slightly underneath, like this. Nonetheless, ow, that's not doing my back any good, so we will straighten up immediately. We do some harm. But these are lovely little blooms. I mean, this is the first time I've seen them close up. Here anyway, as first time bloomer here. Just, I would say the background colour is a straw colour. Sort of, yeah, straw I think is the best way to describe that. And then the lip is a much paler colour with brown markings in places. and inside we've got some lovely veining. So again, lovely frilly bits attracting the pollinators in. We don't want those in here, thank you very much. But there you go, that's quite a spike, and it's on the latest growth that's fully matured, and the plant's got another new growth pushing on that will mature and may well bloom once it gets to this sort of size and, you know, shape. So we may get another blooming in less than a year. Some plants have got blooming cycles that don't necessarily need a season. So that's that one. And then last but not least, and I'm going to have to move the plant because the plant's on the low shelf and I'm not bending down there. So we will get this out somewhere a bit higher up. Ow. In fact, I can put it on the edge there. In fact, it can stay there. And that's the Sarcochilus. These warrant closer inspection because the markings on them are very delicate, very fine and very delicate. When you see them close up, they are very attractive. Got a distinctive shape. I sort of think of them a little bit like a man, you know, with two arms and some baggy trousers and a hoodie. Yeah, all right, I'll keep taking the tablets. So there we go. That's the lot this time round. I'm just scanning because I know what I'm like. Oh no, I do forget things now and again. So out of what I can get at, as I said, there is a Prosthetia up on that far shelf that does actually have some buds just starting. So you wouldn't have seen much anyway. Just a little shape in between the two leaves. So not much to see. So there we go. That's where we are at the moment. And it's going to feel incredibly bare when these Cymbidiums go out. But the staging with the Cymbidiums is not going out until the majority have finished blooming. And I will be starting to repot the Cymbidiums soon because some of them are out of bloom now. They finished blooming, including this one that's in this fibrous stuff. We've got new growths coming, yeah? So it's a good time to repot that. So, and there might be another one that's going to get potted on. So we will be starting the repotting process for the Cymbidiums very soon. And yeah, that's about it for today. Today is Thursday. Tomorrow I will probably announce the results of the 2025 project plants voting process. Thanks for all you good people who've taken part and sent me your choices. I've done a spreadsheet so that I can count them all up, but I will check again tomorrow in case there's any late entries. All I'm going to tell you is there are a couple of clear winners. And in 24 hours between today and tomorrow, now and the same time tomorrow when I'll probably do the results, there wouldn't be enough additional entries to alter those. They're so far ahead. But some of the other groups are quite close, so late entries could make a difference. So if you haven't actually made your choices yet, you'll have to watch the video to see the plants and everything, and then you can make your choices by leaving comments on that video, not on this one. I probably won't see them. And there we go. So that's it. Everything in bud, spike and bloom for May. We will do the same again in June, and again, each month we do it. Even if there's only one or two, we still do the video. So, and I'm out a fair bit of Saturday, Orchid Society meeting. I am here on Sunday, so we will have a Sunday chat this week, unlike last week when Hannah was down and we were gardening. previous video with some of the stuff we did. And yeah, I haven't worked out whether I can film anything on Saturday and what it would be, but I'll try and get something up on Saturday before I go. The Orchid Society meeting does have a committee meeting prior, so I do have to leave a bit earlier for that one. I have to leave here about 11 o'clock. But given the time I get up in the morning, I might have time to do something quick, but it depends. And whatever, I will see you next time. What are we going to finish on? Let's finish on the red. You know me and my reds. I do like my reds. So we're going to finish on the Cattleya with the 8-foot long name. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for dropping by.